So congratulations if you've bought one of these, either our 100 or 110 model, you own one of our biggest tractors. They are completely identical, besides the fact that the 110 is a turbocharged model and the 100, which we've got here, is a naturally aspirated model, but otherwise the layout and the cockpit is the exact same. So starting on this side of the tractor, we've only got a few things on the passenger side of the cockpit. We've got your clutch, which, as you can see, there is a little bit of free play in the clutch. There is an adjusting rod that we will speak about later. What you want to do is make sure there is free play in your clutch. We want to reiterate, do not ride the clutch. So once you've finished changing gears, foot off the clutch on the floor, wherever you want to put it, just not on the clutch pedal. This here is your fuel cutoff switch. So what that means is when you turn off the keys to the tractor will keep running until you cut the fuel. We also recommend popping that back in to reduce the chance of you breaking it if you knock it with your shin or your knee getting in and out. Down here on the ground is your four-wheel drive selector. In its down position is two-wheel drive, and you pull that up to engage four-wheel drive. Sometimes it won't engage four-wheel drive. That is because all you have to do is just roll the tractor forward and backward to get the teeth in the gearbox to line up, and that'll pop up into place just like that, no problem. Left side of the driver's seat here, you've got the handbrake, just like your standard car handbrake. You pull that up to lock it up, pop it down to release the handbrake. Now over here is your PTO speed controller. With regards to that, all of our implements run at 540 RPM. So there is a neutral and there is 540 and 1000. None of our implements are rated to 1000, and you will damage the implements if you run them at the 1000. Alright, so on the driver's side of the tractor here, you've got quite a few things to consider, but realistically, they're nice and simple. So over here, you've got your auxiliaries for the 3-point linkage, but unless you have implements that run auxiliaries like side shift, tilt shift, or swing, you won't ever have to worry about these. Over here is your front end loader controls. Now, as you can see, this arm is not moving whatsoever. There's a safety tag in the way, and when you're in the driver's seat, you can't actually see this latch because this tag blocks the view. All you have to do is pull that latch down, and that will give you free roam to operate the front end loader. This arm here opens and closes the bucket, and up here is your 360-degree screen that just shows the cameras all around. Here you've got your low, medium, and your low and high range box. I will show you how to split the gears to make them 16 gears later. So forward, forward high, forward low, and reverse. Neutral is also there. Down here, this is starting to look like a car. You've got your accelerator pedal, just like a car. You've got your brakes, again, just like a car. Now, there is a bit of free play in the brakes, and that is intentional, and that is because we do not want you riding the brakes and cooking the brakes, because finding out on a hill that you don't have brakes is not a good time. So once in a while, we'll just get you to adjust your free play, make sure it's that free play, then you hit the resistance. That's what you want. Up here is your hand throttle. There's two main purposes for the hand throttle. One, you could use it as a bit of a cruise control to cross a big paddock if you've got the slasher or something along the lines on the back of the tractor, or when you have an implement on the rear that's driven by the PTO, such as the slasher or post hole digger or backhoe. You just want to give the tractor 12 to 1500 RPM, and you'll find the happy medium. The tractor will tell you what it wants from you. Carrying on, you've just got your standard H pattern shifter here. It's a 4-speed box, 1, 2, 3, 4, just like a car. Carrying on to the side of the driver here, you've got the sub clutch for the PTO. So what that means is if you pull up somewhere and you want the PTO to stop driving your implement temporarily, you can pull that up, and that will just stop whatever you've got on the back. So if you've got the post hole digger and you need to make some adjustments, you pull that up. You cannot drive with the sub clutch up in place, or you will burn the clutch. So before you take off, drop that sub clutch back down. Now, as mentioned, it's a 16-speed gearbox. So if you want to split the gears to go from the creeper gears to your standard fast gears, you just pull this T-handle up and down accordingly. Right now, I am between cogs, so I'm not able to do so. What you need to do then is just roll the tractor forward and back a little bit till the teeth line up, and you can pop that up and down. This here is a stomp pedal for the diff lock. You use that in conjunction with your four-wheel drive here to get you out of a rut. So make sure you're in the low box in low gears, so that when you engage four-wheel drive, you have the torque to get you out. And if you're really stuck, pop that diff lock down with your foot, and as you finish up, pop it back up with your hand. And over here, you've got your main 3-point linkage control. So You've got it in the neutral position. Pulling it back lifts your PTO up, your 3-point linkage up. Forward lowers it, and if you pop that all the way forward, it floats your 3-point linkage. What that means is if you've got the slasher on behind you, it'll follow the contours of the ground. When you've finished and you don't need it floating anymore, you just pop that back and it comes back into the neutral position. Up here, you've also got the air conditioning controller. So you've got temperature, fan speed, and the compressor. You can have the aircon running without the compressor on. It will not cool the air, so make sure that's in the on position. And this fan here has a little switch just on its arm right there to turn on and off. So up here, up the back of your tractor, again, it's identical on both models. You've got your 3 auxiliaries, but again, it's not something you'll use unless you have an implement that requires it. Up here is a breather valve for the hydraulic overflow system. And speaking of the hydraulic overflow, there is your hydraulic fill point, should you need to top up your hydraulic fluid or after you've serviced it. Down here is your diff and rear, your gearbox and rear diff fluid. That's where you fill, that's the fill point for it. And actually, while we're on that topic, over on this side is the dipstick for the gearbox and the rear diff, just that little pipe there. Up here is your top arm for the 3-point linkage, which you will adjust accordingly depending on how much length you need out of that turnbuckle. You just undo the nut, twist the turnbuckle, and that will adjust your length. Here is a short drawbar, and here's a swing drawbar. In essence, they do the same thing. If you're towing a little trailer that takes a drawbar setup behind you, they will both need to be removed before you use an implement for the first time because you need access to the PTO. The PTO is just hidden behind this plastic cover here, and that unscrews or pops off, and that'll expose the drive shaft for the PTO. On both sides here are your hydraulic rams for the 3-point linkage to provide the downforce you need if you've got the post hole digger or any other implements that need it. And here's your bottom arms for the 3-point linkage. Just going back to the hydraulic system, as mentioned, there's your fill point for the hydraulic system, there's your breather, but back here is actually your dipstick. It's a nut that you undo and there's a dipstick built into that.